Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kids Show, and today we're going to talk about Lollipop Chainsaw because, well, the re-release of this game, Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, a remaster of the original game that came out 360 era, PS3 era. I actually have a PS3 copy of this game, and it's a game that definitely is a part of the culture war, whether we like it or not, because, well, there's been obviously a lot of prudish lefties or uh, woke individuals that really just oppose these sorts of games. So this game has been a part of the culture war because, well, the developers, Dragami Games, has been very adamantly open about being anti-censorship. They wish to keep the original quality of the game. They wish to keep the game intact as much as possible. Everything that I've seen so far in regards to that holds true besides the score of the game. It The original game used a lot of licensed music, and so unfortunately, I knew this was going to happen. If you watch any of my Lollipop Chainsaw remaster videos in the past, the one thing I was always concerned about from the very get-go was indeed the score. And so from what I've seen, some of those songs have been removed. I don't know if all of them, all the licensed music has been removed, but it wouldn't surprise me. I have yet to play the game, the remaster, as of yet. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's interesting and follow along. This is it comes. Give me some time because I have an overall question that I think needs to be answered in regards to, well, modern day gaming journalism, modern day gaming discourse, specifically around outlets like your IGNs and your other clearly politically driven or social politically oriented websites that definitely put their ideology before video games, what they're supposed to do in regards to reviewing, discussing the actual in-game world, the in-game, discussions that be around these games without including their own personal biases. But I think it's important to discuss our side of the aisle when it comes to essentially people wanting free expression, people wanting video games to be devoid of woke ideological nonsense, any real life, real world political ideologies being forced into games as propaganda. We oppose all this. We want anti-censorship in games that are propaganda free. That is pretty much where I stand personally. And here's the thing, there's people that also stand for the same thing, but then they act no better than the people they oppose. And I really have to call out Learning the Law on this one, aka at Manga Lawyer. And they said IGN is unwilling to review Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, probably because it might trigger some of the they-them staff. Instead, they published an article announcing the launch, but reminded the audience that they gave the game a 5 out of 10, which is unfair. How are they still in business? So, to read the actual, his proof that he puts forward in regards to this tweet, I'll read the article that he's presented here as his own screenshot, as his proof. And this is the IGN article. It says Lollipop Chainsaw Repop is a remake of the original Lollipop Chainsaw, which follows high school cheerleader and zombie hunter descendant Juliet Starling, and she fights through the apocalypse with her boyfriend's severed head by her side. Repop is a definitive version of the game, which leaves the story unchanged, with the focus on quality of life improvements and additional gameplay content. Dragami Games CEO Yoshimi Yoshuda said in June. The game picked up a cult following, but in our 5 out of 10 review, IGN said Lollipop Chainsaw doesn't even attempt to differentiate itself from the genre. And most of what it does try new in the realm of its character and writing ultimately ends up taking away from the incredible on-paper action game. So that was the screenshot that he produced in order to validate his claim. And his claim is IGN is unwilling to review Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. First off, I was presented with this tweet about like 3-4 days ago. And I was like, whoa, this is like easy 1,000 views from my channel. Let me go do my research. You know, being the small channel that definitely likes to make videos I know will do well, but I do my due diligence in actually getting proof of such things. So I went and researched online, searched anywhere where IGN may have tweeted that they refuse to review this game, and there is nothing. There is no tweets from IGN reviewers. There is no articles saying that they will not be reviewing and why. There is nothing presented. Now, to be fair, as of the recording of this video, IGN has yet to actually review the game, but it's also fair to say that, well, most outlets have also not reviewed the game, and I'm not trying to make excuses. They probably don't want to give this game, they don't want to give this game the extra attention that it probably deserves, and, you know, that's kind of obnoxious, don't get me wrong, but to single out IGN for this, I mean, there's also the reality that there's a slew of games that are being more highly spoken about. I mean, besides the Dragami Games CEO tweeting about this game, there's been zero actual promotion of the game whatsoever. And I think this is a big reason why this game really isn't on a lot of people's radars. And look, guys, personally, I do not value Metacritic at all. How often do I talk about Metacritic? Yeah, I really avoid it as much as humanly possible. But just to show you guys, right now, the game is sitting at a base critic score of 74 and a user score of 8.2. So it seems like the users are somewhat enjoying the game, which is cool. Like I said, I personally have no, I really haven't played the game yet, so I'm really trying to be as fair as possible to the game. And also not, you know, I haven't played it. I don't really know what to expect. But going to the actual critics, right now we have 2 positive and 2 mixed, and the only one I recognize out of these critics is Noisy Pixel. So yes, a lot of outlets have either not reviewed the game yet or are choosing not to do so. And Learning the Law has no proof of IGN is unwilling to review Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, and then he makes the assumption of probably because it might trigger some of the they/them staff. And maybe that is the case, maybe so. And it said they pushed an article to announce blah, blah. And this, mind you, this article, let me bring up the article. All right, guys, so this article came out August 6th, and it was a news-related article. And it was to announce that the game is launching early. So this is them reporting news. So, like, this wasn't to say anything specific of what Learning the Law is saying here. He's done nothing but misled the quote-unquote anti-woke side, or people that are just opposing censorship, and actually look to his tweets to be informed. There are so many YouTubers, there's so many people just talking about how IGN is unwilling to review the game, and there's no proof of this, but you could tell that it all leads back to Learning the Law, just making this assumption and using an article from a month ago that was to report the news that the game was getting released earlier. Like, this is ridiculous. And not only is he like just not producing any proof of what he's saying here, and I can't say he's outright lying because at the end of the day, IGN hasn't reviewed the game, but there's no proof of what he's saying to his claims and the reasons why. But then we go even further, where Learning the Law also, and it's like, it's almost like he just wants the attention. It's weird because he doesn't have the blue check mark. You would think he'd at least want to profit off of being an outright clown, but this dude is literally leading people who are against censorship completely the wrong way and being completely untruthful. He said, here is a full comparison of Lollipop Chainsaw Repop censorship versus the original. So this is the original that they're showing right now. And then this is the remastered version. And I'll explain, you know, what's going on here in a moment. But he says the creators toned down Juliet's physics in the standing position. If it doesn't matter or is not a big deal, then why change it? Maybe there isn't a clear answer. I prefer the original PS3. And dude, like, there's so many reasons why this looks the way that it does. First off, the lighting in the new version, the remastered version, is clearly broken. Like, it needs to be fixed. Like, it is so off. I mean, there are so many lighting issues that I've seen in this game that it really does, like, it blinds you, and you can't even see Juliet, and it's not on purpose. It's just that it's terrible lighting. It's on a different engine from the original. All right, so there's going to be possibly some differentiation in physics. There's gonna be differentiation in lighting. This is different. It's a different engine, bro. There is no censorship present here. They have recreated the game as closely as they could when transferring it from one engine to another. Like, it is so insane how this dude has completely misled people and made people. And it's like, dude, I'm not defending the game in a sense of, well, the game has bugs and glitches in it. That's just what it is. Like we can have that discussion because that's an honest discussion. There's clearly bugs visually in the game. That is an honest discussion. But to say that it's censored is a dishonest discussion. You could still prefer the PS3 version. I mean, it runs at 30 FPS, and hey man, emulate, baby. That's probably the best way to go. I'm not gonna lie, but it's to say that this is censorship. He's so disingenuous. He's so dishonest. There's no proof of his claims. To take this guy seriously is foolish at this point. But this leads me, and like I said, he's fooled so many people. People just take him at face value because there's times where he does tweet things out that do have some proof of claim behind them. If it be vague or if it be like, yo, spot on information. But like, this dude is just throwing stuff out here and he's fooled so many people. If it be regular average people, if it be YouTubers with bigger followings. Even I think Asmongold's covered this. And shout out to Smash JT. Dude, the dude covered this. And I'm assuming that he assumed that Learning the Law did his research or had some proof of claims, and he didn't. And you know what? Smash JT admitted to, hey man, he kind of jumped the gun on that one. And that takes a real man to admit that. So shout out to Smash JT. He's definitely admitted, like, yeah, could have did better on that one. And that's cool. Like, for me personally, I looked into this and I'm like, there's nothing to cover here. There's literally nothing to cover. But this leads to an even bigger conversation. And I think the really important one that needs to be had from this. It's not necessarily IGN will not cover Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, but should IGN cover Lollipop Chainsaw Repop? And honestly, I don't believe that they should because look, Learning the Law's claims, there's a truth to them. Like, IGN is very much ideologically driven. They have proven time and time again that they hate video games like this that appeal to the quote-unquote male gaze. They're filled with a bunch of either complicit video game journalists or journalists that are outright completely politically oriented, politically driven, who also hate games that appeal to the male gaze. They absolutely have this insane disdain for games just like this, even though Juliet Starling is an awesome female protagonist in her own right. That is her own, she's her own woman, man. Like, shout out to her. She's a cool character. That both men and women get behind. Dudes like her because she's attractive. There's gay dudes that like her because, she's that type of girl that they like, that they're into. I personally can't relate because I'm completely different, but hey man, gay dudes are into her too. There's lesbians that are into her because she's sexy. They think that she's sexy. And then there's chicks that just like that character. They're not gay. They're just into the character because she's this, like, she's this bubbly type of cool character that they can fuck with. And that's all cool. Like, this is a game that multiple different types of people fuck with for different reasons and think it's cool. And it does have this strong cult following, which is, overall, this game is just cool, man. It's a cult classic, shout out, cult classic Cage and whatnot. But the thing is, since IGN is so politically driven, I genuinely feel, and I've stated this multiple times on my channel, that if you cannot have an objective opinion about a video game and come to an objective opinion about a video game without including your obsessive worldviews, then you should not be reviewing these games. That's what I've said multiple times before in different ways. Like, a lot of these journalist websites have no fucking business reviewing any of these games because they are incapable incapable of removing themselves from their writing. If it's from all these, we've gone over plenty of articles in the past, plenty of reviews in the past that have taken jabs from their own personal worldview perspective. If it be, remember the PS4 review where they went on this excuse me, remember the PS5 review where one of the websites, I believe it was IGN or something, went on, you know, if you guys remember, definitely write in the comment section down below to remind me. But I think it was IGN or some site, maybe Kotaku. I think it was Kotaku actually, that went on this political tangent. It's like, who gives a fuck about your personal worldview? Is the console good or not? And why? Like, that's what people care about. They don't care about your personal worldview. So, like, that kind of stuff. Like, this has been something that for years, for over a decade now, has been a problem where these dudes have included so much of themselves into their reviews, into their articles, their obsessive worldview, that they can no longer be objective. And that's why forget IGN refusing to review Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. Good, because they're incapable of excluding their stupidity in doing so. They can't be objective, so therefore they should not review it. Now, what needs to happen is really, we got to take over, man. We at the end of the day, we got to take over and let people know, is the game good or not? You know, I want the game to be good, but if it's not good, I will let you guys know. And with all that, particularly, I mean, I guess it's you know, it's one of those things where it hasn't gotten, the game itself hasn't necessarily went super, you know, big. There's a lot of competitive games out right now. But I mean, hey, it's beat out Concord and Dustborn in terms of all-time peak. You know, and definitely right now in terms of players, you know, but with that being said, since these big websites are not covering the game, I was going to hold off on getting the game because honestly speaking, Black Myth Wukong has been kicking my ass, but we're still at it, we're still playing it, we're still fighting. But I've taken it upon myself to go out of my way and just say fuck it and buy the game on Steam. I've just bought my copy. And if you guys want me to stream the game, let me know. And I'll stream the game. So that's what it is, baby. So I definitely wanted to support the game. I will definitely be playing the game. Even if the game happens to have some bugs, some glitches, even if the game doesn't have the original soundtrack. Fuck it, man. I want to see games like this. More games that aren't afraid to be themselves, to be quirky, to be interesting, to be different. Not games that are following what journalists deem as acceptable or not. Because in their eyes, games like this aren't acceptable. Or a thing of the past, outdated and whatnot. So screw them, right? But that's my personal thoughts. And this definitely went on a little bit of a tangent. But I think that overall, that's what I wanted to get to. I'm sorry if the main point of the video, which is should IGN review games like this, sorry that took too long, but unfortunately we have morons like Learning the Law that have done so much stupid shit that we had to go over that in autistic detail. But guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. If you can like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitter if you'd like to continue the conversation. Cult Classic Cage on Twitter got yeeted. All right, my account got suspended, so follow my new Twitter account at Mario Kart. The link is in the description below. Hey, consider becoming a channel member. 99-cent membership gets you instant access to the Discord, gets you emotes, you know, come hang with me Thursday nights, 8 p.m., where I put on a Thursday night extravaganza that goes into Friday, definitely, where we have an awesome time shooting shit, man. Making fun of fanboys, looking at memes, all sorts of stuff, man. It's a great time. I love hanging out with you guys on Thursday nights. So if you happen to be someone that watches these videos, check out the live stream too, man. It's a great time. And if you don't want to become a channel member, that's completely fine. Come hang out anyway. Love to see you there, man. The live stream keeps growing, and I'm excited for what lies ahead. So definitely be a part of that. Come chill with the family, man. And yeah, guys, well, that being said, I'm out. Peace.